Now, sources have told India Today that 3 suitcases of documents worth hundreds of crores of rupees of property were taken away after the murder of the guard at Jaya's Kodanad estate. The police have revealed to India Today that the murder of Om Bahadur on the intervening night of 23rd and 24th of this month could have been an inside job. Police suspect that a person who had done the interior design work on the prize Kodanad estate could be behind the attack. They have also said that the person who had raided the house had specifically targeted 3 suitcases that had the documents listing assets over 100 crore rupees. Police have also released this sketch of the alleged mastermind behind the estate attack. The sketch is based on the surviving guard's description of the attackers. Our deputy editor Priyambada, who's tracking the details of this mystery, she's joining us live. Priyambada, could you throw some light on this? Because the mystery just, it's getting murkier by the day.
Absolutely, because the 2 deaths in 2 different parts of country, one in Kerala and one in Tamil Nadu, both most wanted in the burglary and also the murder of the security guard at Kodanad estate, were found dead today in an accident. So this definitely has added more mystery. But most interestingly, what India Today has learned is that 3 suitcases on 24th of April went out of Kodanad estate, literally vanished from Kodanad estate, and this probably contained documents worth thousands of crores, hundreds of crores is what our sources are telling us.
Right.
So if the police are going to narrow down their net, then they could get hold of some important documents which could nail more people in Tamil Nadu. We know that TTV Dinakaran is already behind bars, and more people probably from Shashikala family could be nabbed.
Priyambada, I believe a sketch has been given out where the police is concerned on the possible suspect. Who is this possible suspect? What was the connection when it comes down to Jayalalitha? On what basis has this sketch been released?
Well, on that day when this incident happened, that is 24th of April, at least 8 assailants had come and they had attacked the 2 security guards, and one of them died. So the other security guard who was injured has been helping the police, and he came out with this sketch. He came out with the details, after which the police have released the sketch, demanding the public to give more information about this person.
All right. Priyambada, stay with me. Also joining us is Sanjay K Chadha. He's a lawyer of the Supreme Court, and possibly he could throw more light on those 3 suitcases that have gone missing from the estate of Jayalalitha. And Sanjay, now those 3 suitcases apparently contain documents of crores, and we're talking about over 100 crores of property. Now, those are the documents of that property which were in these 3 suitcases. They are missing now. Now, how can those papers be misused by the people who have stolen them?
Well, there are chances of misuse in terms that they might sell the property, because here if the owner of the name of the owner is let's say X, and X catch hold of those documents, then what he will do is he can sell it. That is one aspect. Second aspect is that they can mortgage it with somebody and take a big loan on that property. Based upon that, they can take that loan, and then that asset becomes NPA, non-performing asset, and then they grab the entire loan. So this kind of activities can be there primarily. That's what I feel.
Sanjay, possibly, do you think, because we're talking about 100 crores of property of Jayalalitha, could it also be, the papers are missing now, could they be used to manipulate Jayalalitha's will as well?
There can be a possibility of, let's say, I'm just hypothetically giving an example here, for that, let's say the papers were in the name of X, and now those papers are with Y, and Y takes pressurize X to give a will in his favor, or transfer these papers in favor of Y. So all that kind of activities can be very.
Can the papers be forged under a different name? Is it legally is it possible?
No, it is absolutely not possible. We have to keep in mind that whenever there is a sale deed or sale takes place, a property's registration is done.
Okay.
Then that registration, a copy of that document, whatever documents are basically made, a copy is kept with the office of sub-registrar, and each like in Delhi, if I may say, each district have 2-3 sub-registrars. So those sub-registrars, they keep it. And if the deals and the papers are of very recent origin, then most of these deals are also kept in soft copy with the government.
Can they be illegally transferred? Can the property...
So there cannot be a possibility.
Right. Sanjay, the property papers, now if somebody gets their hand on them, can the property be illegally transferred to someone?
Yeah. It is very difficult if one has to transfer a property without the actual owner, then it is next to impossible, because as per the rule, at the time of transfer of property, the owner has to be present. The deed, if I am writing a sale deed, I am the owner and I have to be present before the office of sub-registrar. That is must.
All right. So, Sanjay, if you have to, then what is the biggest threat that, that can happen, or that we can anticipate with the papers that have gone missing? Worth crores of property.
Well, now the biggest threat is that those papers might be, the owners with some very little manipulation, they can mortgage those properties. If let's say a property is there, they can go to a bank and show that this is the property and they can mortgage, number one. Number two is that on the basis of those documents, what a person can do, let's say somebody have a document about a property, what he can go there, he can say that he can take the possession of that property and then subsequently mortgage it. And the biggest threat, which I am repeatedly saying, that if they are mortgaged, they will take away, the person who is mortgaging will take away the money and will not pay the loan, and then consequently the bank or the financial institution which has taken the mortgage will sell it. So it's via this route that person who has the documents can earn some money.
All right, Sanjay, but having said that, now that it's in public knowledge that these 3 suitcases, with papers worth of 100 crores of property have gone missing. It's public knowledge, possibly an FIR would also be lodged. Now, keeping all of these developments in mind, considering that, whoever has stolen these papers do not make a predated change, then nothing quite can be done from this day.
Yeah, the very relevant point which you just mentioned is that there will be an FIR, and once an FIR is done, as it will become a part of the investigation. In the investigation, they will take out this particular fact. This investigation will take out this fact, that which is the property where the owner is missing. Now, we have to understand this very, very carefully, that let's say I'm just giving an example of a driver. If a property a driver cannot have a property worth crores of rupees. So that is the reason the investigation agency will dig out the exact position, whether the person in whose name the property stands has the capacity to make the payment to that extent. Then, and it is very easy, it is not at all difficult to take out this data, that if I have a property in my name whether that property is worth, let's say, I just hypothetically say 10 lakh rupees. Whether I have the capacity of paying 10 lakh rupees? If yes, then if I can show with my accounts, and in my accounts I have very clearly mentioned that this is my property and this is how it has come, so then it will not be possible. This is very important. Now the next point which is very important is that at the time of sale or purchase of a property, the most crucial thing is the chain of the property's title, A, B, C, like who has purchased from whom. Then, so it is not at all difficult to see the chain or to trace the chain. So while tracing the chain, it will be very, very clearly evident that the person who is mortgaging or person who is trying to transfer the property is not the real owner. So there in those areas now we have to see that the government machinery has to be more and more effective and very, very, in a very, very scrutinizing way they have to act.
All right, Sanjay, stay with me.
Sanjay, stay with me. Wherever such incidences are there.
Yes. We're going to come back to the incidences that you're talking about, and we will see if there's any precedence of something like that happening with what you've mentioned. But stay with me. Priyambada, we're going to come right back to you as well. Now, Jayalalitha had also left behind assets worth crores of rupees and with no sign of a will. So there is no clarity who will inherit the massive estate. We don't quite know whether or not that there is a will in place. The crown jewel of Chaya's estate is the sprawling bungalow in Chennai's posh Post Garden. The house, spread over 2,400 acres, is estimated to be worth 45 crores at least. It was bought in 1967 by the late Chief Minister. Now, the Kodanad estate, recently targeted by alleged robbers, is also part of Jayalalitha's properties. According to her 2016 affidavit, she invested over rupees 3 crores in the estate. All right, Priyambada, deputy editor, is still with us. Priyambada, the very fact that there's no sign of a possible will, we do not quite know, at least there's no public declaration that Jayalalitha left a will. Now, in terms of who could rightfully contest for that property?
Well, obviously it's going to be Deepak Jaikumar and Deepa Jaikumar, the nephew and niece of Jayalalitha. They are the only blood relatives right now. But there is no clarity. If Jayalalitha had given a consciously written will she has left behind, then obviously it will go probably to Shashikala's extended family and to Shashikala. Even when Jayalalitha was alive, we know that many properties in Tamil Nadu and other parts of the country and across the world were purchased in the relatives of, in the name of relatives of B.K. Shashikala. But right now, Deepak and Deepa Jaikumar can claim and demand that the will of Jayalalitha be exposed and made public. But let's also understand, not that every property purchase probably could be available in the will. It could also be the properties which were purchased not just in Jayalalitha's name, but in name of Shashikala and other family members.
All right, interesting point there. So let's bring in Sanjay as well at this point of time to maybe get us a deeper understanding of the fact, Sanjay, that there has been no public declaration of a will in place. So what happens now? Because you have all these papers completely missing when it comes down to the mammoth, proportion size of the assets that Jayalalitha had.
There are two things. One is, if she has died intestate, that means without leaving any will, then the scenario will be entirely different. Then there is a law which says that in what manner the property has to go to the legal heirs, the successors. And if she has died after a will, then it is the duty of the person who is claiming that yes, she has, or anybody has left a will in my favor, then it is the duty of that particular individual to establish and produce before the court that it is the will, and as per the will, I am the owner.
All right.
These are the two situations only.
All right. Priyambada, if we just take away with that, with the mystery which is going on with Jayalalitha's Uti estate, But what are we, with what we are heading towards right now? It's just the tip of the iceberg, because all hell will break loose when people start contesting for Jayalalitha's property.
Absolutely. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are already so many cases that KS Geeta, a former friend of Jayalalitha, has filed in the court. There are public interest litigations. Then Deepa is there, Deepak is there. Deepak, in fact, had told us that he's also planning to file a case. So when there are so many cases, and with Shashikala in the prison and TTV Dinakaran also in the prison, the other family members will have to come out and declare the assets of Jayalalitha.
All right. And Priyambada, let's, once again go back to how this entire mystery where the Kodanad estate is concerned, when it all came about. Because, it's mind-boggling, because that first attempted robbery, one guard gets killed. Then what happened today? All of this tying in together. All right, I think we're having an audio problem with Priyambada. We're going to try and fix that link. Sanjay Chadha, thank you there for joining us.